What's up, everyone? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, and I'm back with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about the NFC South as we continue on of my previews with the NFC conference. And today it lands us with the NFC South. And a lot to unpack here. But before we get into the video, make sure if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, it will be greatly appreciated. Make sure you like and comment on all of the videos here, Clutch Sports Talk related, and make sure you check out my playlist with all of the division reviews up for the upcoming 2024 season. So you guys don't want to miss out. But anyway, let's jump right into it as per se. And let's talk about the first team, probably the most talked about team in this division is the Atlanta Falcons. Now, a lot has changed, at least from the quarterback position, as well as the coaching staff there in Atlanta. Now, the Falcons are ready to take on all of the fanfare that's surrounding them, right? I mean, listen, for the last couple of years, they've been stockpiling some talent. They've drafted guys like Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. They've got some other explosive guys like Tyler Algiers. So they've been really, really quietly making some offseason moves, even adding some guys on the back end of their defense, as well as getting Matthew Judon from the New England Patriots. So Raheem Morris is definitely ready to have this team win this division per se, right? But maybe makes a little bit more noise outside of the division. But the biggest question in all of this is the health and the play of Kirk Cousins. Now, we all know Kirk Cousins has been a very prolific regular season quarterback, but after that, it's kind of like when he gets in the postseason, he kind of craps the bed a little bit, right? We've seen that time after time with him in Minnesota. A little change of scenery. Now he's in Atlanta and looking to kind of make a run at this and see what he can do and elevate this Falcon squad that has been kind of on the bottom of this division for quite some time. But like I said, Raheem Morris, he's had a stint as a head coach before. I know he was on the Rams staff for quite some time, and Sean McVay has just basically raved about this guy, which probably pretty much allowed him to get this head coaching job, because if Sean McVay can vouch for you, one of the best and brightest minds in the National Football League, it has to mean something, right? So, but the Falcons definitely are one of these teams that I feel like they have everything ready to go. Can they take advantage of the situation? Can they utilize this talent that they have? Because again, you look at their offense, you look at their defense, they're loaded with some really perennial Pro Bowlers, all pro caliber type of players. But again, can they be consistent? In a division, I think that's very winnable, because the rest of the teams which we're going to talk about probably are not in the same caliber or class as far as talent is concerned. So Atlanta Falcons fans, you guys have a lot to be excited about, as you should. But will Kirk Cousins be the guy, or will Michael Penix Jr. have to step in and elevate this team, because they drafted him very high in the draft? Probably not with the thought of playing him early, but definitely down the road, will this be Michael Penix Jr.'s team? Maybe we might see that. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, all right, moving on. Let's talk about a team that really kind of hasn't done anything, right? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've kind of pretty much stayed pat with what they are. They haven't really brought any really notable key additions to this team, that at least that I can recollect at this point in time. Now, Baker Mayfield, pretty good year last year. Now he's lost that coach, Dave Canales, who's now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, which I'll talk about that. I think that might be something that maybe goes unseen or unnoticed, but it could be a problem for them, right? Because Dave Canales has definitely elevated the careers of a couple guys recently, Baker Mayfield being one of them, and then Geno Smith in Seattle. Now he's gone. He's the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Now Baker Mayfield is left here with a pretty solid team, right? As far as talent is concerned, you still got Mike Evans, you still got Godwin, you still have your running back there. So will they be able to continue what they started last year, or will they kind of just plateau, right? Because they haven't really done much this offseason. Will Baker Mayfield take a step back? Who knows? I think he will. Baker Mayfield is a starting quarterback in the National Football League, but is he a guy that's going to get you over the top? He's going to take that next step to bring the Buccaneers into a contending type of championship form. And the answer is probably not, right? So if you're a Tampa Bay Bucks fan, listen, your team isn't terrible, right? Talent-wise, they got, like I said, they got some really key pieces. Now, some of these guys are a little bit older in the tooth now, especially Mike Evans, CJ Godwin. a little older now himself. Offensive line is pretty suitable. You still got Tristan Wirfs out there, but again, some coaching changes may bring this team down quite a bit. Do they have the same talent as the Atlanta Falcons, like we just talked about? No, I don't think so. But can they compete with the Falcons? I think they can. I think their defense is still going to be pretty stout for the most part. But again, it all comes down to quarterback play. Like I always say in all my videos, it comes down to the quarterback play and how will this quarterback and Baker Mayfield fare in this upcoming season without a coach, a really good coach who's been known to be a quarterback whisperer. That's really the big thing that no one's really kind of talking about, or people don't really pay attention to that type of stuff. So that's why you come here and watch me, because I'm going to bring you that insight, right? So, but like I said, do the research yourself and go look at it, right? Look what Dave Canales was able to do for Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield, and see what's going to happen, or see what happened to Geno Smith, and let's look at what's going to happen to Baker Mayfield in this upcoming season. So Tampa Bay, really not a lot to talk about with them in regards to like key changes or things like that. I think for the most part, they like what they have. So they're going to roll with it. So what does that mean for them? I think they're just going to be a middle of the pack team. That's my guesstimation at this point in time, that they're going to be a middle of the pack team, and maybe push for this division. But I don't know. But Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what else can I say about them, right? So, all right, let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. One of those teams that kind of like Tampa Bay, didn't really do much, right? I mean, you got Derek Carr, which I don't really think is a good fit for this for this franchise, or this head coach, nonetheless. They got a lot of aging players, right? Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams. You look at Cam Jordan. These are very aging players, right? I forgot the name of the dual threat, Taysom Hill, right? You got guys like that. Michael Thomas is no longer with this club, if I'm not mistaken. But he was old anyway. He was past his prime for a while ago, right? He couldn't stay healthy, right? The head coach, Dennis Allen, is definitely on the hot seat, right? He's one of those coaches that's looking, probably won't be a head coach next year, right? Or at this end of the season, if he makes it through this season. The Saints really don't have much to offer, really. I mean, their defense will be good. I will give them that. It's always been pretty solid for the most part. It's still a tough place to play. But I don't like Derek Carr. Will Spencer Rattler even get a chance to get in there? He may, right? Because Derek Carr has shown that he can't stay healthy either throughout the course of a season now, right? Since he's transitioned over to the Bayou in New Orleans, after he was ran out of Las Vegas with the Raiders. So he's definitely not going to take them to the promised land. And I'm talking about Derek Carr, right? So is Spencer Rattler going to be the guy? I don't know. I think this team is in a weird kind of transitional state right now, where the head coach, I said, is going to be on the hot seat, and you don't have a top tier quarterback. And, we don't know nothing about Spencer Rattler, right? Other than the fact that he's a rookie, was pretty good in his last couple of years at South Carolina, but really hasn't lived up to that high expectations that he had when he went to Oklahoma to play for Lincoln Riley. So, but again, aging roster, questions about the quarterback, and your coach kind of being under the hot seat. It's not a good recipe, I will say that. And to me, the NFC South for them, it's still not a division that's loaded with talent. So again, if these guys stay healthy and maybe Derek Carr can win them a couple games, they might be trying to vie for a wild card. But we'll have to wait and see with them. But the Saints, definitely, if you're a Saints fan, you may feel a little bit optimistic, right? But at the end of the day, looking from the outside in, I don't think they have enough. And this whole Dennis Allen thing is, honestly, he should have been fired. I mean, the reason why they keep this guy, I have no idea. I really don't. But this is it for him. If he doesn't get fired this year, if you're a Saints fan, you got to look yourself in the mirror and ask the question, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So I don't know. All right. Last team to talk about. Now, this team, I get it. The reputation that they have earned is rightfully justified. I won't deny that, right? But I think they may turn a leaf here. Now hear me out. Don't get on me in the comment section for this, but listen, hear me out here. I know the Panthers sucked last year. They did. They really did, right? And there's still questions about Bryce Young being an NFL quarterback, right? Is he too small? Does he have the talent? Blah, 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 blah. I get it, right? And I talked about this earlier in regards to Baker Mayfield. Dave Canales is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Now, before I even go in further, do I think this team is going to win a lot of football games? No, I don't think so. I think they're going to probably win anywhere between 4 and 5 games this year. And that's an improvement because I believe they only won 2 last year. Okay. But I think they may have something going on a little bit here. I think Bryce Young is going to improve. Why? Because like I mentioned before, Dave Canales, right? He is a quarterback whisperer. Okay. He's worked with a lot really good quarterbacks, some bad quarterbacks, and turned them over to where they're serviceable, right? The verdict is still out there for Bryce Young. Is he gonna be the guy? But I think they've done a good job of surrounding this guy with some talent, right? They went ahead and got Deontay Johnson from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, and by and large, is a number one wide receiver, right? Now we didn't really know that with him in Pittsburgh because Kenny Pickett's been thrown to the guy, and Pickett sucks. Okay, so Deontay Johnson is an 80 reception kind of guy, a guy, right? So he's explosive. He runs routes really well. I think that's going to only help Bryce Young, right? They were relying on Adam Thielen last year. Think about that. Adam Thielen was heavily relied upon. Adam Thielen is past his prime. Okay. He's past his prime, right? So you add in a younger Deontay Johnson, who's looking to make some more money himself by playing really, really good this year. And hopefully that will return into some type of contract extension or something of that nature. So they also drafted Xavier Legette, another young and upcoming kind of receiver guy that maybe can be formidable. Right. So they're doing some things. They did draft the kid out of, I believe, from Texas. Is it Brooks? I believe. Now, I think he's hurt right now, but they still have Chuba Hubbard there. So they're going to be able to run the football a little bit more. And like I said, do I think they're going to vastly improve? No, right. They're just not. Right. But I think Bryce Young may play a little bit better. He might have a little bit more command or control over the offense because coaching does mean something at this point. I mean, listen, everyone's talented in the NFL, even Sari's team. I get that, right? But coaching can account for some type of success. We've seen it time and time and time again, right? And Dave Canales has been proven to be a quarterback whisperer. Again, I've said that again so many times in this particular video, but it's true. Okay, so do I think the Panthers are going to just come out here and just win 10 games? No, they're not. But it's fair to say that they can win at least 4 to 5 games this year, maybe even 6 at the high end. Okay, but they're not. I think they'll win more than 2 for sure. Are they still a dumpster fire? Yeah, because their owner is probably not a great owner himself. But I think with the coaching job, the coaching change, that's going to account for something. And I see the Panthers maybe making a slight improvement going into 2024. Okay, so all right. Before we get out of here are my predictions. I got the Atlanta Falcons taking it all into this particular division. They got the talent. I feel like they got the good quarterback play. And we'll go from there, right? Tampa Bay, even though they didn't do a lot in free agency, they're still returning a lot of players that have been there for quite some time. They got a system there. And Baker Mayfield, maybe he might drop off a little bit, but he's still good enough to finish second and maybe compete with the Falcons if the Falcons don't choke it off. And then I got the Saints. This is an aging roster, questions with the quarterback, questions with the coaching. To me, if I'm a Saints fan, if you're a Saints fan, it's really not that appetizing. This team, to me, I don't know. There's a lot of questions, but hey, it is what it is. And finally, I got the Carolina Panthers rounding out this division. Again, like I said, they're going to improve because of the coach, but they're not going to just overnight. And I know this division has been known for teams from going worst to first, but in this particular case, there's still a ways out, and there's still a lot of questions about Bryce Young, but I feel like he'll play better this year due to the coaching changes and talent surrounding him as well too. Because last year, he was thrown to Adam Thielen, I guess, and no knock on Adam Thielen, but the guy is old and injured. He can't be counted out as the number 1 anymore. So there you have it. So those are my predictions for the NFC South. Make sure if you guys like the video, make sure you like and comment. I want to hear from you. And also, again, subscribe to the channel, please. I would greatly appreciate it. It does help me out tremendously. And I appreciate all the support for all the people who have subscribed, all 276 people. We're trying to get to that 500. So make sure if you haven't already subscribed. So that's all the time I got. This is your boy, Ryan Flowers. aka Clutch Sports Talk. Until next time, like I always say, never settle till the work is done. We'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.